Hello students, I am Sheetal Singh from Panchsheel Balak Inter College, Noida. And today we will read the second chapter of class 9th, The Sound of Music by Deborah Cowley, that is divided into two parts, and today we will discuss part 1. Your second chapter, The Sound of Music, that is written by Deborah Cowley, is an Ottawa-based writer and broadcaster. She has traveled the world while writing more than 100 articles for different editions of the Reader's Digest, many of which have been translated into dozens of languages. She has been an on-air broadcaster for CBC Radio in Washington, D.C. and worked for CBC Television in London and Cairo, Egypt. So, the second chapter, The Sound of Music. The main theme of this part 1, this biographical piece tells us how sheer determination and hard work, perseverance, and courage can alone help achieve anything if we put our heart and soul to it. No handicap, no barriers can break one's way if one has the will to live their dreams. This is the theme of this part 1, and your part 1 is Evelyn Glennie listen to sound without hearing it. So, when we discuss about the title of this part 1, now as you'll see, the title Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. Now, let us discuss the title. The title itself is very interesting. Here the author says Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. Now we all wonder, we are confused. How can you listen to sound when you can't hear? So this is something we will discover, that how Evelyn Glennie was able to listen to sound although she could not hear. So now the time for before you read. God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. Extraordinary means more than ordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. Someone has commented this about Evelyn. He says that although God took away her hearing power, she was impaired, but he gave her an extraordinary thing, and that was the sense of feeling. She could feel very deeply, far more deeply than the normal pupil. And that is why she was able to express music so beautifully, so well. She is a well-known multi-percussionist. She plays different percussion instruments like xylophone, drums. Now Read the following account of a person who fought against a physical disability and made her life a success story. From here, we come to know the theme of the story and the message we get from the story. The story of Evelyn Glennie is a motivational story. It inspires all of us to overcome our physical disabilities and achieve our dreams and goals just like Evelyn did. So now the time for text. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. Jostle means push with elbows. Jostle means push with elbows, push roughly for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl looking younger than her 17 years was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. Slight means small and thin. What is the meaning of slight here? A slight girl. Slight means small and thin. The scene is of the train platform. It is underground and there is a huge rush at the platform. People are pushing each other to get way. There is a small thin girl. It is Evelyn. Evelyn is standing at the platform waiting for the train. And just as she feels the vibrations of the approaching train, she realizes that the train is about to come. She gets nervous and excited. This is the train that will take Evelyn to London. She is going to London to learn music as she got admission in the Royal Academy of Music. And right now, Evelyn is in Scotland. Evelyn belongs to Scotland. Scotland is a country in Europe. Life in Scotland is not as fast as in London. London has a very fast life. It is urban, whereas Scotland has farms and countryside. So that is why Evelyn is nervous because she is leaving Scotland for London. And she is excited also because she is doing something that she always dreamed of. She is going to the Royal Academy of Music to learn music. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from Scottish farm. Prestigious means famous. Evelyn is 17 years of age. She is a teenager and she is fresh from a Scottish farm. As Evelyn is from Scotland, which has more of farms and countryside, so she has not seen fast life. That is why she is nervous, and the writer says that she is fresh from a Scottish farm. But This aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. Aspiring musician means aspiring musician means a person who wants to be a musician, and profoundly means absolutely deaf. Evelyn could not hear, and this was a bigger challenge for her. Moving from a rural area to a fast life was a smaller challenge. Evelyn faced a much bigger challenge, that was her inability to hear. Evelyn Glennie loss of hearing had been gradual. Gradual means in phases. Slowly, she started losing the power of hearing, and one day she was absolutely deaf. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8 years old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she did not move. I suddenly realized she had not heard, says Isabel Glennie. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness and from friends and teachers, but by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated, and her headmistress asked her parents to take her to a specialist. As slowly, she started losing the power of hearing, and one day she was absolutely deaf. Isabel Glennie is the name of Evelyn's mother. Evelyn's mother, Isabel, recollects one incident when Evelyn was 8 years old. She says that Evelyn was 8 years old, and she says that Evelyn was waiting for her to play the piano, but when her name was Isabel Glennie is the name Evelyn's mother, and as her name was called out, she did not respond. And her mother realized that Evelyn did not respond to her name. That means she did not hear her name being called out. As Evelyn lost her sense of hearing in phases, it was a gradual process. In the beginning, when she could hear partially, she managed to hide this disability from her friends and teachers. When Evelyn was 11 years old, her marks has started deteriorating, and the headmistress request requested her parents to take Evelyn to the specialist. It was it was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. When the doctor checked upon Evelyn, he found out that Evelyn had lost the sense of hearing. They were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to a school for the deaf. The doctor advised Evelyn's parents that they should get hearing aids for her. Hearing aids means hearing aid is an equipment that is fitted into your ear and it helps a person to hear to some extent. He also suggested that Evelyn should be sent to school for the deaf children. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. When Evelyn discovered that she could not hear and that she would be sent to a school for deaf children, that she was not as good as normal children, her world became colorless. It turned black. Now, what does this mean? Everything suddenly looked black. It means that all of a sudden you get such a bad news, you get some news that you don't uh, ex- accept, and in return that you see blackness all around you, and that is how Evelyn responded to this news. But Evelyn was not going to give up. This shows Evelyn had determination. Although Evelyn got such a shocking news, still she was determined and she did not want to give up. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. Pursue means to follow. As Evelyn was passionate about music, this news also did not break her. She was determined to live life like normal pupil and follow her interest in music. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. Xylophone means a musical instrument with a row of wooden bars of different length. When Evelyn saw a girl playing the xylophone, she wanted to play it too. Most of the teachers, most of the teachers discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. Spotted means found. What is the meaning of spotted here? Found. Percussionist means a person who plays the drum, the tabla, etc. A person who plays different musical instruments. And potentials, quality or ability that can be developed. Now, on one hand, Evelyn's teacher discouraged her because they knew that she could not hear and hearing was an important part of music. But Ron Forbes saw that Evelyn was very passionate about music, and so he decided something. He began by tuning two large drums to different notes. Ron Forbes thought that he would teach Evelyn to feel music, not hear, because he can't because she can't hear. Ron Forbes thought that he would teach Evelyn to feel music. He took two large drums and he tuned them to different notes. Drums are musical instruments and he tuned each drum to different notes. So the sound produced by the drums was different. So it was distinct. Both the drums made different sounds. Then he told Evelyn, don't listen through your ears. He would say, try to sense it some other way. He said that don't try to listen through your ears. He said that try to sense it. Try to feel the music some other way. Says Evelyn, and suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower one from the waist down. The middle of your body is called the waist. Now, as Ron Forbes had tuned both the drums to different notes, the upper part of Evelyn's body above the waist could feel the higher notes of the drum, and the lower parts of a body, the parts down from the waist, could feel the lower notes of the drum. Forbes repeated the exercise, and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. This is how Evelyn can listen to sound, although she cannot hear. She can sense different notes in different parts of her body. I had learned to open my mind and body to sound and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination. Sheer means total. Total clear determination and hard work. Ron Forbes taught Evelyn to respond to different sounds. Different parts of Evelyn's body responded to different sounds. That is how she could identify the sounds and the different vibrations. Now, once she could identify the sounds and vibrations, the hurdles had been overcome and Evelyn's career went upward. As she had determination to become a good musician, and she also did a lot of hard work. She never looked back from that point onwards. She toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra. Once Evelyn overcame the hurdles, she started sensing the different sounds through the different parts of her body. She progressed in her career. As she toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. So Evelyn, as toured the United Kingdom and performed with a youth orchestra. By the time Evelyn reached the age of 16 years, she had decided to make music her life. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. Evelyn gave an audition for the admission to the Royal Academy of Music, and her score was the highest in the history of the Academy. No other person had scored such a high score as Evelyn did. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances. So, initially, Evelyn performed in a group, and as she got well in her music, as she got confident, she started performing alone. Solo means alone. At the end of her 3-year course, she had captured most of the top awards. She had achieved all the top awards by the time she had completed her 3-year course at the Royal Academy of Music. And for all this, Evelyn would not accept any hint of heroic achievement. If anyone says that Evelyn has done something great, she does not acknowledge that. She is very humble and down to earth. If you work hard and know where you are going, you will get there. Evelyn says that two important things for success. Firstly, hard work, and secondly, aim. She says that if you work hard and you have an aim, a target which you have to achieve, then you will definitely achieve it. And she got right to the top, the world's most sought after multi-percussionist with a mastery of some thousand instruments and hectic international schedule. So Evelyn also achieved her goal. She worked hard and she had an aim to become the topmost, the most famous, the most sought after musician of the world, and she did that. She gained mastery of almost 1,000 musical instruments, and she is the most popular multi percussionist of the world. She has a very busy schedule. She has programs and concerts all over the world. And this was the explanation of your chapter, The Sound of Music, Part 1. And tomorrow we will continue this chapter, Part 1, Evelyn Glennie, Listen to Sound Without Hearing